In the quiet stillness of a moonlit night, a figure stood motionless at the foot of the bed. Jonas's eyes fluttered open, his heart skipping a beat as he realized Claire wasn't beside him. As his vision adjusted to the darkness, a chill ran down his spine. There she was, her silhouette eerily backlit by the pale glow seeping through the curtains. But something was wrong. Claire's eyes, usually warm and inviting, now stared blankly at him, devoid of recognition or life. Jonas had been warned about Claire's sleepwalking. Her family had insisted he never wake her, no matter what. But they hadn't prepared him for this. The unsettling sight of his, awake yet not truly present, her gaze fixed upon him with an intensity that made his blood run cold. The old farmhouse creaked around them, its ancient bones settling in the night. Jonas and Claire had come here to prepare for their upcoming wedding, a romantic getaway to finalize plans and enjoy some time alone. Now, as he lay frozen in bed, Jonas wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. He remembered Claire's mother's words, spoken in hushed tones as they arrived. "Whatever you do, don't wake her if she sleepwalks. It can be ... dangerous." At the time, Jonas had nodded, thinking little of it. Claire had mentioned her occasional bouts of somnambulism, but he'd never witnessed it firsthand. Now, faced with the reality, Jonas felt woefully unprepared. Slowly, carefully, Jonas sat up in bed. "Claire," he whispered, his voice barely audible. She didn't respond, didn't even blink. Her nightgown hung loosely around her frame, swaying slightly in a breeze Jonas couldn't feel. The air in the room felt thick, oppressive, as if something unseen was pressing down upon them both. Jonas's mind raced. Should he try to guide her back to bed? Leave her be and hope she'd return on her own? The warnings echoed in his head, but the sight of Claire standing there, so still and unnatural, was more than he could bear. Just as he was about to reach out to her, Claire spoke. Her voice was different, deeper, raspier, as if it was coming from somewhere far beneath the surface. "They're waiting," she intoned, her lips barely moving. "They've always been waiting." A shudder ran through Jonas's body. "Who's waiting, Claire?" he asked, fighting to keep his voice steady. But Claire didn't answer. Instead, she turned, movements jerky and uncoordinated, and began walking towards the bedroom door. Jonas scrambled out of bed, his bare feet hitting the cold wooden floor. He followed Claire as she moved down the hallway, her steps unnaturally even, as if she was being pulled along by an invisible force. The old floorboards creaked beneath their feet, the sounds seeming to echo through the empty house. They descended the stairs, Claire never faltering, never looking back. Jonas's heart pounded in his chest as they reached the ground floor. The farmhouse's main room was bathed in silvery moonlight, casting long shadows that seemed to writhe and twist in the corners of his vision. Claire stopped in the center of the room, her back to Jonas. He approached cautiously, every instinct screaming at him to run, to hide, to wake up from this nightmare. But he couldn't leave her, not like this. "Claire, please," he pleaded, reaching out to touch her shoulder. "Come back to bed. You're scaring me." The moment his fingers made contact, Claire whirled around. Her eyes were wide open now, but instead of their usual warm brown, they were a milky white, pupilless and unseeing. A smile spread across her face, too wide, too many teeth. It was Claire's face, but not her expression. Something else entirely was looking out at him through her features. "They're here," Claire's voice rasped, her head tilting at an unnatural angle. "They've always been here, waiting in the walls, in the ground beneath us. And now they're ready." Jonas stumbled backward, his legs hitting the edge of an armchair. He fell into it, unable to tear his gaze away from the thing wearing Claire's skin. "Who are they?" he managed to stammer out. Claire, or whatever was controlling her, let out a laugh that sounded like shattering glass. "The old ones, the forgotten ones. Those who slumber beneath the earth, dreaming of the day they'll reclaim what was theirs." As she spoke, the shadows in the room seemed to deepen, to move with a life of their own. Jonas could have sworn he saw shapes forming in the darkness, twisted in human forms that defied description. The air grew colder, his breath misting in front of him. "This land," Claire continued, her voice taking on a sing-song quality that made Jonas's skin crawl. "It was theirs long before your kind walked upon it. And now they're hungry, so very, very hungry." Jonas wanted to run, to scream, to do anything but sit there paralyzed with fear. But he couldn't leave Claire, couldn't abandon her to whatever force had taken hold of her. "Please," he begged, tears forming in his eyes. "Give her back. Let her go." Claire's head snapped towards him, that terrible smile still plastered across her face. "Oh, but she invited us in." Every night, in her dreams, she opened the door just a little wider. And now, ... now it's too late to close it. As if on cue, a low rumbling began to emanate from beneath the floorboards. The entire house seemed to tremble, picture frames rattling on the walls. Jonas gripped the arms of the chair, his knuckles turning white. Claire began to laugh again, the sound building in intensity until it was a shriek that pierced Jonas's ears. Her body started to contort, bending in ways that should have been impossible. Jonas watched in horror as her limbs elongated, skin stretching and tearing to reveal something dark and writhing underneath. The rumbling grew louder, and Jonas could hear a chorus of voices joining Claire's laughter, countless inhuman throats crying out in triumph and hunger. The floorboards began to splinter, revealing glimpses of a vast, squirming mass below. In that moment, as reality itself seemed to unravel around him, Jonas finally found the strength to move. He bolted for the door, Claire's or what used to be Claire, inhuman shrieks following him into the night. As he ran down the dirt path leading away from the farmhouse, he could hear the sound of the earth itself tearing open behind him. Jonas ran until his lungs burned and his legs gave out, collapsing on the side of the road miles from the farmhouse. As he lay there, gasping for air, realized with a sickening certainty that he would never see Claire again, at least not as she once was. Whatever had been awakened in that house, whatever had been waiting all this time, it had claimed her completely. In the days and weeks that followed, as search parties combed the area and found no trace of Claire or the farmhouse that had seemingly vanished into thin air, Jonas was left with nothing but the haunting memory of that night. He knew, deep in his bones, that something ancient and terrible had been unleashed upon the world. And it was all because he hadn't heeded the warning to never ever wake her. As the story of that fateful night spread, whispered in hushed tones around campfires, and shared in the darkest corners of the internet, a chill ran down the spine of all who heard it, for in the quiet moments before sleep, when the shadows grow long and the mind wanders to places best left unexplored, one can almost hear the echoes of that unearthly laughter, a reminder that some doors once opened can never truly be closed again. Still here? If you enjoy horror that follows you into your sleep, drop a like and follow for more chilling stories like this. But remember, as you drift off tonight, to pay close attention to your dreams, for you never know what might be waiting on the other side, ready to slip through the cracks between worlds and into our reality. Sweet dreams. Dare to have them.